Hi guys, this is CA Balakrishna. In this video, we will be discussing case study number 12 from paper 60 Economic Law case study digest. Okay, first MCQ: whether the maternal grandfather of Mr. Abbas is liable for punishment under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. What is the offense that this person, grandfather of Mr. Abbas, has done? Basically, this grandfather was returning to India from UAE. While returning, he bought some 5 kg of gold with him. Now, he did not disclose this 5 kg of gold to the customs authorities in the airport. No disclosure, and also he has not paid any custom duty on such gold. Thereby he has committed offense under part A as well as part B. Okay, he has not paid custom duty. This would be covered under part A of the scheduled offense, and no disclosure will be covered under part B of scheduled offense. Now let's see the answer. No, he is not liable for any punishment. Wrong. Yes, he is liable to punishment for the commitment of offense under part A. Only part A. No, both part A and part B. Yes, he is liable to punishment for commitment of offense under part C. No. Yes, he is liable to punishment for commitment of offense under part A as well as part B. Option D would be the correct answer. Next, whether Mr. Rahman can purchase the agricultural land in Ludhiana in his own name. Basically, Mr. Rahman has got some citizen of Pakistani. Okay, he is a Pakistani person. Now he wanted to purchase land, agricultural land in India. Whether he can purchase or not. See, if you see, there are some countries specified in regulations relating to acquisition of immovable property in India, like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. Like this, some countries are specified. The individuals or the persons of these countries can purchase any property in India subject to prior approval of RBI. However, if they want to take a lease of any property up to 5 years, they can take without any approval of RBI. But if they want to purchase the property, they have to mandatorily take the prior approval of RBI. Let us see. Yes, he has paid amount through bank account. No. Yes, he can purchase the immovable property in India taking prior permission of RBI. Option B would be the correct answer. Next, third question: who can be considered as Benami for the property purchased in Maharashtra? Basically, what happens is there is a particular person by name Mr. Abbas. He purchased certain property in Maharashtra in the name of his sister by name Shabina. Now, if you purchase any property in the name of sister, it has to be purchased in the joint name of the person who is paying the consideration and the sister. But here, Mr. Abbas purchased the property in the sole single name of his sister only, but the consideration was paid by Mr. Abbas. Thereby, regarding this transaction, his sister Miss Sabina will be Benami. Hope that is clear. Next, whether Miss Shabina after her marriage acquired the immovable property in India as per the provisions of FEMA 1999. See, Miss Shabina, basically an Indian citizen, got married to some Afghanistani person, and after that she got the citizenship of Afghanistan, and she decided to reside in the Afghanistan. basically she has become Afghanistani. Now, if a person who is a citizen of Afghanistan wants to purchase the property in India, has to take the prior approval of RBI. The same discussion which we have discussed for MCQ number 2 will be applicable even for this also. Now, option B would be correct. Yes, she can acquire the immovable property in India with permission of RBI. Next. Yeah, sorry, option C would be more specific. Yes, she can acquire the immovable property in India, but only with the prior permission of RBI. Okay, C would be more specific. Next, fifth MCQ. Miss Sudha being an ostensible owner means seems to be like owner, but not actually real owner. Okay, ostensible owner acts based on the directions of the real owner. Okay, such a person will be known as ostensible owner. Now, Miss Sudha being an ostensible owner of land can be considered as dash under the prohibition of Benami Property Transaction Act, assuming the land was purchased by Mr. Rahman from unknown sources. See, basically what happens in the case study is Mr. Rahman is there now. This person, Mr. Rahman, purchases some property in the name of his wife. What is the name of his wife? Miss Sudha. Okay, in the name of his wife, Miss Sudha, he purchases the property. Now, Mr. Rahman was, due to some illness, he went for his treatment to some London, I think. Okay, for his treatment he went there. Now, when he returned to India after completion of his treatment, what Miss Sudha did was, she wants to sell the property, okay, which was purchased in her name by Mr. Rahman. Basically, if you purchase a property in the name of your spouse, then such property will not be treated as Benami property, even though it is purchased in her own name. Okay, even though it is not purchased in the joint name, it will not be treated as a Benami property, provided that must be purchased from the known sources of Mr. Rahman. Okay, in the case study, Mr. Rahman has purchased the property from his known sources only. Okay, from his known sources only, he purchased the property in the name of Miss Sudha. Therefore, as per the case study, the property will not be a Benami property and the transaction is not a Benami transaction. But in the MCQ, what he says is, he wants you assume the land was purchased by Mr. Rahman from unknown sources. Okay, if you assume that the land was purchased from the unknown sources, then it becomes Benami property and it will be a Benami transaction, and the Benamidar would be Miss Sudha. Okay, therefore Miss Sudha can be called as Benamidar. That is MCQ number 5. Moving to descriptive questions. See, whether Miss Razia can acquire the farmhouse, not entire agricultural land, situated at B91 Ludhiana without any consideration from her mother, Miss Sudha, considering the provisions of Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. See, basically Miss Razia is there now. Let me show you this in the case study. Yeah, here. this. Here, see, basically Miss Razia is a Indian citizen. Okay, she is having an Indian citizenship, but she settled with her husband in England. Thereby, we can call her NRI. However, let us see. She is a air hostess with British Airways. She flies for 11 days in a month and thereafter is on layover for 19 days. During the break layover, she stays in Mumbai. Now, for calculating the residential status of a person as per FEMA, you have to see whether the person has stayed during previous year for more than 182 days or not. Now, while calculating that 182 days, this kind of stay due to layover should not be considered. Hope that is clear, because it will not be considered as permanent residence. Okay, this is just stay in India. Okay, but for calculating 182 days, permanent residence has to be considered. Okay, therefore this stay which is as part of employment should not be considered while calculating residing in India for 182 days or more. Hope that is clear. Now, if you see this, she will be treated as person resident outside India and she is a NRI. Now, if NRI wants to purchase any property in India, he can purchase any property other than agricultural land, farmhouse. Okay, now she wants to purchase a farmhouse. See, if you see, okay, premises, Miss Sudha transferred the not purchase, she want to take it as a gift. See, farmhouse situated in B91 Ludhiana without any consideration in the name of her daughter Miss Razia, as Miss Razia is still a Indian citizen. Okay, even though she is an Indian citizen, she becomes a NRI. Now, when any NRI or OCI wants to purchase or freely take the property, that means inherit the property or take the property as a gift, they are entitled to take the property only if it is other than agricultural land or farmhouse or plantation. Now, she wants to take a farmhouse, it cannot be taken. Okay, such a transaction is prohibited. Let us see the answer whether she can take or not. The answer is she cannot. Whether Miss Razia can acquire the farmhouse? No, she cannot acquire, since she is NRI and NRI cannot purchase or acquire through gift any property which is agricultural land, farmhouse or a plantation. Apart from these, any other property can be acquired by them freely. Hope that is clear. Next, whether the contention of Mr. Rahman that Miss Sudha has no right to transfer the immovable property which was purchased by him in her name under the Prevention of Benami Property Transaction Act 1988 is correct. See, I have already told you that Mr. Rahman purchased the property in name of his wife Miss Sudha from known sources only. Okay, if he purchased from the known sources, then it will not be a not a Benami transaction. Okay, if it is not a Benami transaction, then wife will be having complete authority to sell the property. Okay, now you can say that the contention of this person Mr. Rahman is not correct. Hope that is clear. Next, whether the purchase of property by Mr. Aslam in the name of his mother in a fiduciary capacity, that is as a trustee, is barred from the provisions of Benami Transaction Act 1988. Support your opinion with the relevant legal case law. If you see, if you purchase any property in the fiduciary capacity, that would be outside the jurisdiction of this Benami Property Transaction Act. But what does a fiduciary capacity means? That is specifically defined in the Benami Property Transaction Act. Let us see the specific definition of fiduciary capacity. See, a person standing in a fiduciary capacity for the benefit of another person towards whom he stands in such capacity and includes trustee, executor, partner, director of a company, depository or participant as agent of a depository under Depositories Act 1996 and any other person as may be notified by the central government for this purpose. Now this person has purchased in the name of his mother. Okay, if you want to purchase in the name of mother, it must be in the joint ownership of you and your mother. Only then it would be outside the jurisdiction of Benami Transaction Act. But you cannot simply say that I have purchased the property in my mother's name by treating her as a trustee. Okay, that would not be considered as a fiduciary relationship. Therefore this transaction, that is the property which has been purchased by Mr. Aslam, okay, basically has not purchased, he has taken it on a lease in the name of his mother, would be within the jurisdiction of prevention of Benami Property Transaction Act. Okay, transaction is a Benami transaction because he did not hold the property in the joint name of his mother. Okay, if you are purchasing in the name of your mother, it must be in the joint name. You cannot say that I have purchased in the name of my mother in the fiduciary capacity, keeping her as a trustee. Okay, that would not be covered under the definition of fiduciary capacity. Hope that is clear. Next question. Whether the fee paid by Mr. Abbas exceeded the prescribed threshold of FEMA rules, state the consequences of the same. Basically, Mr. Abbas has paid certain fee of 1.80 crore rupees to some US based educational institution when the exchange rate was 71 rupees per US dollar. If you calculate this, it would be some 2.53 lakh US dollars, which is in excess of LRS limit. Okay, liberalized remittance scheme limit. The LRS limit is 2.5 lakh. But if you observe, based on a what you say, that if the educational institution abroad gives you the certificate saying that this is the amount of fee that is required to be paid, and if such amount of fee prescribed is more than 2.5 lakh dollars, then that is freely permissible based on the certificate of that institution in which you are going to join. Basically here in the case study, this person has expended such amount of 2.53 lakh dollars based on such estimation certificate issued by the institution. Thereby there is no prohibition of any of this no default under the FEMA regulations. Hope that is clear. By this we have completed case study number 12.